All right, let's get this started. So, obviously, I've already gone through the patch notes. Not really a whole lot to look at here. However, well, I guess it kind of depends on the content you care about in the game. But for like for me, since I mostly raid, there's not really a whole lot. I guess we do get the Occult Crescent stuff, which is mostly just the Phantom Weapon upgrades, and the Rhinon strat actually got patched out, which is extremely shocking to me because I didn't think that was even a bug. I thought that was literally like, he literally even mentions it in his video that this is a this right here is a this is a, he says that the max attack range in the game is like 60 yalms, and that this is that the ability exceeds that, or the attack from the tether. If you stretch it more than the maximum range, it would cause it to do no damage. So this got patched out, which is just like that. That's like extremely shocking. I honestly didn't think it was a bug, but I guess it was. So, it's crazy. Where's the other thing that I think is like kind of funny, but at the same time, like, I don't even think it was necessary, but they did it anyways. Yeah, this right here. Certain effects in M9 have been adjusted to better distinguish ally actions. I want to say this is because people have complained about the dark AoEs looking the exact same as Dark Knight's Salted Earth. It's kind of funny, but I kind of get it. I mean, like, I get why they did it, but at the same time, I think it's just kind of funny that people had an issue with that. So, yay for you if you had an issue with it. Summoner got pretty significant buff here. I will have to admit, I did lock out Summoner when I was trying to clear this and clear M12s and PF in Party Finder, and I never do it. I haven't never had a raid tier where I had to do this before, so I'm just like the fact I had to lock out Summoner because Summoners would come in and the damage would be so much lower than if we just didn't have a Summoner. That I'm sorry, but like, even though I did this, like, I feel bad for the Summoners that have been having a hard time in Party Finder because of it. So I feel your pain. It's just like it's something we kind of had to do because we literally could not clear with a Summoner. And it's not that we didn't have pulls that were like really, really close to being a clear with a Summoner. It's just, if it had been, you know, like in that same pull, if it had been a Black Mage or a Picto or a red mage, we would have had the extra 2 to 3% that we needed on the boss. So this is very welcome. It's very needed. I think this was really like the only one that was heavily needed for that. However, something that makes me extremely sad here, and this is going to be the start of the Dark Knight rant, is where are the self-healing on demand additions that we needed to get this patch? Where are they? Where the fuck are they? Square Enix, please. What is wrong with these people that you are letting bombard your fucking forums with the cry of anti-homogenization because they think Dark Knight shouldn't have the same self-healing on demand that the other tanks have? I'm sorry, but at this point, it's definitely needed. I'm sorry, it's needed. And we're about to go into the why. We are about to go into the why of this. So let's get into it. And this is part of the m12s rant too. So we don't get fights like this very often, but sometimes we do, where both the tanks take auto attacks simultaneously from the boss. And M12S Phase 1 is one of those fights. The last time we had a fight like this was P7S. I guess technically, I guess if you want to get technical, you could say probably the Chaotic Alliance raid, but as far as like hard content actually goes, I think hard content that people are that most raiders are going to actually do, P7S is probably the most similar recent fight before this. Now, it was not as detrimental during P7S because it still didn't hit as hard, but and I don't use ACT. I don't upload, but you know, somebody always has the logs, so somebody is always logging, so it's going to get uploaded, and it got uploaded. So here we are. So between Act 1 and Act 2, at the end of Act 1, we take tank busters. We do not want to invuln this buster. Why do we not want to invuln this buster? Because if we do, we won't have it for Act 3 when the melee kill us with their spread. The Fixer. It does a lot of damage. We throw a lot of mid on it. And if the mitt is not put on the Fixer late in the cast bar, this can happen. But also, if the healers just throw the Dark Knight a regen, this will not happen. Because regen ticks for like, I think regen heals for like 30k per tick. So it alleviates half of the auto attack just by getting a regen. But Some of this, sure, I could have moved my Dark Mind and my Oblation back a little bit, but I don't think it would have made a difference here, because the problem, I didn't get a single heal outside of the AoE healing that the party got for the fixer, or after the fixer. So one, two. No. Oh, wait. No, it prepared it. God, this is so fucking hard to read. 1, 2, 3. Dark Mind and Oblation covers how many autos? 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, I want to say there's actually more than 7 auto attacks, but the 7th auto is where I died. And it is where I consistently die every time I have to pop my Rampart late in the first mechanic. Why am I popping it late? Because the mechanic is completely random, and if I take... I'm playing off tank, so if I have to take the 4th set of orb, or if my turn is on the 4th set of orbs, I'm popping my Rampart a little bit later than I would for any other spot in that mechanic. $83,800 from the boss. That is... Let's see here. Yeah, that is like literally a 25% auto. That is 25% of my HP. Every auto attack. That's without mitigation. What is on this? Nothing. So somehow the damage variance on the auto attack dropped down to 72,153. That, or this is how much HP I had when I died to it. Either way, I was overkilled. Like... It's painful to see, man. It is painful to see. And this is just like, why has this been the most consistent death I have suffered in this freaking raid, man? It's mind-boggling that I can't get a freaking regen. And you know what would literally solve this entire issue? Putting a regen on Oblation would solve this entire issue. I would not have died to auto attacks if Oblation had a regen. You can see me starting my burst here. I probably hit edge to use my Dark Arts proc that I had from using TBN on the Buster back at the end of Act 1, which was literally only like 15 to 20 seconds before this. Maybe 25. It's around half a minute before. And Dark Arts does not stack, so I cannot use a second TBN before getting to burst. I think my Rampart was coming off cooldown right in here. So I was probably trying to get to it so that I could use my Rampart, and I was just not allowed to live to my Rampart because the tank autos hit too hard to not get any healing here. But I got literally no healing. None. And look at this gunbreaker too. He gets Heart of Corundum. And the Sage gave him a Taracol. But he's sitting just fine. He only took an 80k auto twice. Twice. And then his Heart of Corundum covered the rest. Because it starts out at 30% mit. Plus shield, plus healing. It's an XCOG effect. Like, just mind-blowing that Dark Knight can't get the same for another patch. The same level of self-healing and mitigation for another patch. This is and to make matters worse, this is now drama. You know how this is now drama? Because this gunbreaker said I didn't mit any of these autos. He said I didn't mit a single one. Then what do you call these first 3 autos where I have Dark Mind and Oblation on it? What do you call them? Because I call that mitting the auto attacks. You know why I died? Because the mitt fell off. That's how I died. It fell off and I had nothing else to press. So what the hell am I supposed to do? This is just a complete failure of Square Enix to realize that Dark Knight has been left out of this club of self-healing on demand for too long. They have been left out of the Cool Kids Club for too long on this. It is time to give Dark Knight the same self-healing on demand that every other tank has. Look at how much he gets with just the Heart of Corundum. He gets 28%. And it doesn't just give him the mitt. It gives him the shield and it gives him the heal too. So, why can't TBN have the same? And cost no MP and not be tied to dark arts? Why? Why? There's no excuse for it anymore. This is a blatant failure from Square Enix. Absolutely blatant. If TBN wasn't tied to dark arts, I would have been able to TBN here. I would have been able to use TBN. Because I had, even if it still cost MP, I would have been able to use TBN here. But because it's tied to dark arts and you can't stack dark arts procs, look at this. I can't mitt. I literally can't, because I have to hold that dark arts proc for burst. It's just fucking nuts. Okay. Well, this... I hope this right here, I hope this entire experience is enough to make Square Enix do something about it. To fix Dark Knight self-healing. To homogenize it. It must be homogenized. It's not it needs to. It must be homogenized in the next patch. In fact, I wish they would do an emergency maintenance soon to fix this. Because it's blatant. It's a blatant failure. I shouldn't have to rely on the fucking healer to do their freaking job here. I shouldn't. And it's not even that they have to do a whole lot either. If the white mage could have dropped one glare to throw me a regen. One glare to throw me a regen would have prevented this entire situation. But I can't get it. And it's been multiple healers. Mostly astrologians who don't have aspected benefic even on their hotbar, but even a white mage can't do it. Which is pretty sad. Because they have it easier than any other healer in the game. What's sad, what makes it even worse is the healers are bitching about not getting the healing they want, about having nothing to heal. But here we are, they have a perfect opportunity to heal and they fail to act on it. And you wonder why your healer strike was completely ignored at the start of Dawn Trail. Here you go. This is why. This right here is why. Because you can't do your job when it comes time to actually do it. I rest my case. I hope Dark Knight gets something extremely soon to fix this. I really do. It is absolutely needed. It must happen. This is a blatant failure to realize that the job has been left out of the self-healing club for too long. All of our self-healing from Heaven's Word went to Warrior. Is pretty much what's happened. So I feel for the people that have cried out about that. I didn't even play during Heaven's Word, but I've heard about everything that Dark Knight had during Heaven's Word, and I think it would have been great. I really do. But it's not the direction that Square Enix has gone with the job. But we've finally reached a point where it is extremely dire for Dark Knight. We have finally reached that point. If something is not done soon, more Dark Knights are going to bitch about this. More are going to bitch about it. And I hate to say it, but it's literally just a failure from Square Enix to act upon the people that have been crying out for Dark Knight to get some kind of self-healing for a long time. We're not even asking for something. We don't even, like, to cover this, we don't even need something as drastic as raw intuition and bloodletting. Because I literally think a regen on oblation would have been enough to keep this from happening. But what we really need is for TBN to be untied from both Dark Arts and MP. It needs to cost 0 mana and work just like the other short tank mitts. I don't care if they keep it 15 seconds or not. That's up to Square Enix to decide. But give it the same 30% mitt up front, falling down to 15% in the back. Make it last 8 seconds. So you get 30% for the first 4 seconds. You get 15% for the second half. And then you get an XCOG effect like Heart of Corundum. Give it that. To just remove this obnoxious gameplay where we have to hit 2 or 3 buttons to get the same amount that the other tanks get from just 1 button. And for Dark Arts, you can just have it be something that has like a 50% chance to proc when activating Soul Eater. Or when you combo Soul Eater correctly. That way it's not like guaranteed, but you do still get free Edge of Shadows. And put a regen on Oblation. Put a regen on Oblation. And if you think that, and if it's a problem because that will make it more stronger than Aurora on Gunbreaker, then give Aurora 10% mitt to compensate. But give Oblation a regen. It's not that hard to see that the job needs this. Anyways, few other things. Go back to the battle system here. The patch notes. We're getting 10% echo in cruiserweight. Yay. I didn't do cruiserweight because there wasn't going to be an ultimate, and I had some real life stuff going on then, so wasn't able to do it. But I'm probably going to go back and do it, hopefully soon. As for where I would place the raids this tier, and I can't even speak on M12s Phase 2 yet, but just from what I've seen of the World Race and stuff, I can at least try to kind of formulate an opinion on it. I think M9s is a solid introduction to a raid tier. I don't think it's too over the top. I do think the DPS check on it is probably just a little lax compared to most first turns. But overall, I think M9s is a pretty good fight. M10s, the music takes away from this one so much that if I have to hear I'm standing one more time, please, just why? There are so many other options that are for music genres that would have fit the surfer vibe. You could have even gone to the Beach Boys for this, and it would have been far more pleasant to listen to on repeat. What else is there? Was it even able to pick up my voice? Yeah, okay. My mic was somehow below my chin. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, M10s, I think, like, from the tank perspective, yeah, like, it's really fun as far as, like, being a tank fight goes. I think M10s is a fun fight, but the music kills it so hard. So I mean, like, for me, it's like a 6.5 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10, simply because of how much the music takes away from it. M11s. This fight is a freaking masterpiece. It has been shitting on the Party Finder. Even all of week 3, it has been shitting on the Party Finder. I have friends that have been trying to clear this in the Party Finder, and they were trying all week last week and all week this week, and still are stuck at Enrage because people won't hit their buttons. They wipe to arena split. People die at the end of Ecliptic. So, I mean, like, it's a really, really hard fight. But it's also, like, one of the most fun fights in terms of, like, movement and tight positioning that we've ever gotten. And then to top it all off, we got an absolute banger soundtrack for this one. M12s phase 1, obviously we know that I think this phase is absolute proof that Dark Knight has been avoided for too long as far as fixing it defensively goes. I think the fight is showing that healers cannot do their job, especially in Party Finder. I wouldn't say so much like static healers. I don't have an opinion on static healers for this fight yet because my static isn't there yet. But I've been there in PF, and the PF healers are just absolutely horrendous. Most of them are, not all, but most of them. And I'm sorry, but there's, like, between Act 1 and Act 2, there is literally nothing going on except the fixer and tank autos. That's it. That is all you have to worry about. And to be unable to drop one glare to throw the Dark Knight a regen is pretty bad. I think the mechanics are actually pretty interesting for a phase 1 fight, but obviously, like, the big takeaway here is that the problems that have creeped up thanks to the lack of or not the lack, but the being negligent about Dark Knight defensives. I mean, like, that's just an issue. The negligence of Dark Knight defensives, it's it's gone on too long. It's time to give Dark Knight the same. It's time to make TBN the same as the other short cooldowns for tanks. I'm sorry, it just is. M12s Phase 2, I have seen... I'm pretty sure I've seen all the mechanics. I can't really, like, go into each one specifically. But I do know, like... I saw that we kind of get, like, Super Chain from P12S has come back. It sort of. And we got the interesting towers, which I like. I still have no idea how that's solved. It looks so weird and difficult to figure out, but I mean, it kind of looks cool, at least. So I think right now I mostly just need to, like, get there myself, and I can formulate a better opinion of it, but I think it's going to be a decent one. Obviously, I've heard it hits just as hard as the first phase, just without both tanks taking autos simultaneously, which is, thank goodness for that. And then I haven't even given an opinion on Doom Train yet, because I was mostly busy farming it and doing Savage prep and whatnot during all of that. But I like the Doom Train fight too, for the most part. It's probably the only fight that I've ever actually, like, enjoyed most of my grind for the mount. I did have an issue where I was healed too much before Living Dead procced into Walking Dead. And then even though I made it to the next train with like 3 seconds left, I didn't get a heal, and I wasn't able to hit the boss to finish cleansing it. So I just died to Living Dead. Please fix Living Dead. And that won't happen. Like seriously. But also, if TBN was the same kind of short cooldown that the other tanks have, same thing. I would have been able to self-cleanse. Anyways. Despite the rant, I am mostly enjoying the new content this patch, so hopefully we will get those Dark Knight changes soon that we desperately need, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully I will be progging or doing reclears or whatever tonight, and I'll actually be able to stream. The only reason I'm able to stream this time is because I don't have the game running at the same time. I don't know what is going on with OBS where it is, like, just not letting me stream, but it's not letting me stream. I say it's not letting me stream. It's having issues where it, like, disconnects from Twitch over and over again. It stopped streaming to YouTube randomly. That sort of deal. I literally think it is just my PC being overused, because I often don't turn my PC off, and that's on me. But, like, I think or at least I hope that pretty soon the devs for OBS will kind of, like, put out a patch for it where it kind of, like, doesn't do this. Because for what, like, I don't know why it started doing this. It just, like, randomly started doing it. And I don't know why. It's just kind of, like, inexplainable. Like, OBS worked fine for, like, all of those streams in a row. And then it's just like, pff, I'm not going to work right anymore. Bye. You know? But, anyways. I will be coming out with that new schedule very soon, I hope. It mostly depends on whether or not I can get OBS working correctly while running the game. It really depends. Gonna be doing reclears with static tonight and whatnots. Hopefully we get to m11s with no prob this time. Hopefully we kind of one-shot the first two. And we get time to try for the m11s clear. But I'm not going to expect anything extraordinary there, because by the time we get to that, we're only going to have like an hour or so left. But Wednesday should be fine. And I know I'm saying tomorrow. I literally mean tonight, because it's currently like 1:53 in the morning. But anyways, peace out. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.